For 14 years, an ever-growing storm raged across Akalon. At first, hot scouring winds turned the center of the continent into a barren wasteland. It slowly expanded, relentlessly consuming everything in its path. Forced to abandon their once vibrant cities, verdant fields, and lush forests, the tribes of Akalon fled north to seek a new home beyond the safety of the towering Kazakh mountains. The dwarves, entrenched in their ancient home, guard what is theirs, certain that the storm cannot reach them. The migrating races fight dwarves and each other as they compete for limited resources in the habitable lands to the north of the mountains. A constant war rages between these desperate tribes. Meanwhile, strange magic has raised the dead, which seem intent on nothing but destruction. Peace is only a distant memory, and the future is without hope. Survival is the only goal. Welcome to Akalon.
Let's look at the anatomy of a card. In the upper left-hand corner, you've got the name of the card. In the upper right-hand corner, you've got the combat value. Here you've got the art, of course. Here's the text box, which we'll go into in more detail in a minute. You've got where it says Orc, that is the name of the tribe for this deck that this card is in. You've got the 4 dots down here. Those show you how many times this card is in the Orc deck. So there's 4 goblins in the Orc deck. The game is played in a series of battles. The player who plays first is the attacker. The person who plays second is the defender. The attacker will play a card, follow all of the card text on that card. Then the defender plays their card, resolves all of the card text on their card. Then you compare the total combat value on each side. The higher combat value wins. Those cards go to the discard pile, and the losing cards go to the cemetery. The cemetery is also the scoring area. The goal of the game is to get 30 points of your opponent's creatures into their cemetery, and of course they want to do the same to you. So to determine who gets to be the first attacker, we have what we call a skirmish. The skirmish is the first battle of the game and ignores card text. So when we're happy with our shuffle, we're each going to flip over the top card. Like I said, we ignore the card text. We're just comparing combat values. So I have a 3, my opponent has a 5. So I lose this first one. My card goes into the cemetery. Opponent wins, goes to the discard pile. Because I lost the skirmish, I get to choose if I want to attack first or if I want my opponent to attack first. Because I'm the Orcs, we love attacking, we're going to attack first. We each draw 5 cards. And now I get to play. So I'm going to start off with the club. Club is only 3, but because I'm playing as the attacker, it gets +2. So I'm looking at 5.
All right, I'm going to play a Seer, which allows me to look at the top card of my deck and either put it in the discard pile or put it back on top. I'll put this one back on top.
All right, so I win 5-1. I go to the discard. Seer went to the cemetery. Because I won that, I am still the attacker. In order to become the attacker, you have to win the battle. In the case of a draw, all cards go to the cemetery, and whoever was the attacker remains the attacker. So you just got elves, so I'm going to come out strong with my battering ram. It's a 6. It actually gets worse on defense, but I'm not playing its defense, so it remains a 6.
Well, that's a big win if I can beat it. So I'm going to play my Archer, which allows me to play another card. And I'll play my Summoner, which allows me to play the top card of my deck. And that's a Wizard. I knew that because I looked at it with the Seer. It's going to give me a total battle value of 11. It's going to beat his 6.
All right. Because the cemetery, now you become the attacker.
As the attacker, I'm going to play my Scout. It has a special attack ability that says after all cards are played, I can discard the Scout and play something else.
I think you're bluffing. So I'm going to come back with a 5 with my Berserker. It does have an attack ability, but I'm not attacking, so that does not count for this battle.
Well, I like the Scout, and I don't want to lose it into the cemetery, so I'm going to discard my Scout and instead play another Seer, which allows me to look at the top card again. I don't like that one, so I'm going to discard it.
All right, so my 5 beats the 1.
Now I'm out of cards, so I get to draw 5 new ones.
I still have 2 cards, so I don't get to draw any cards.
Play continues in this fashion until one cemetery has 30 points or more, and that player's opponent becomes the winner.
There are 4 tribal 28 card decks. Each one has a different playstyle. Dwarves specialize in defending. Elves draw through their deck quickly. The undead bring cards back into play from the cemetery, and orcs are good at attacking. The game also includes a full-color rulebook.